Welcome back to Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm James Pendleton and I'm here to talk about Everton's 2-2 draw to Nottingham Forest and give my instant match reaction. I think instantly I'm quite disappointed with the result. I felt Everton did more than enough to win the game today. They were ahead, they were pegged back through a sloppy goal. That was the only thing they had in the first 75 minutes of the game, and we let them back in. We had a couple of chances, a couple of shots. We had the ball in good areas on 4, 5, 6 occasions, and we never capitalised. Didn't really look like we wanted to score in the second half a little bit, and then we give away an even sloppier, even poorer second goal, and we end up drawing the game. It's really disappointing, and I think again you've just seen a team there who have had two teams have had very different recruitment strategies. One team hasn't signed enough players, one has probably signed too many players, and some players ended up bringing on, but some of the players they ended up bringing on made a difference in terms of giving them a spark and giving the team a bit of a lift, and I think that gives the crowd a lift. Whereas we're bringing on a lad who scored 1 goal all season and another fella who is just nowhere near good enough for this level of football, and they're only coming on with a couple of minutes to go, despite the fact the team were clearly knackered and changes were probably needed earlier. But I can also understand that the subs that he has to bring on are so below par, it's untrue. But overall, I thought Everton played alright today, really well in some parts. I think there was pockets of the game where Everton just had complete control and Forest were struggling to live with us in terms of we were keeping the ball, their players were getting frustrated. It looked like some of their players were getting knackered. John Joe Shelby was just labouring around the pitch second half. He looked absolutely goosed. And I felt like we had genuine control of a game of Premier League football for the first time in God knows, I don't know what, Palace maybe, in terms of certainly for large spells. I felt Everton were the better team, and I thought we did good value to go ahead after the first 10 minutes. Before we made a bright start, we won a penalty, which is definitely a penalty. I've heard someone say Graham Souness said it was a dive, which I struggle to comprehend. But anyway, we scored that to get 1-0, and then their goal was just out of nothing really. Michael Keane comes out to Morgan Gibbs-White, he dropped into a bit of space, then he just leaves him, he turns, plays a 1-2, has a shot, saves, and then to goal. It was very similar to the goal that Brennan Johnson scored against us at the end of August, start September, whenever it was. Obviously both Gray and him scored that day and did the same today, but it was just such a nothing goal. Like, it wasn't because they put pressure on us for the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It wasn't because it was some incredible bit of play. It was picking the ball up, 1-2, shot, saved, rebound. That's all it was. Obviously, not criticising Forest and criticising us for letting such a simple bit of play undo 20 minutes of good work. But then we get ourselves back in front, and Decore, who, to be fair, this week spoke about wanting to get out of this. Now he's pleased he's staying and everything. Amadou Onana's apparently spoken this week and said he wants to be playing for one of the world's best teams in the next few years, and dropped an absolute nothing performance today. He was nowhere to be seen. Whereas Decore scores that goal, makes it 2-1. McNeil has a good effort. Decore should have got an assist. Gray fails to score a good chance later on in the half. With a better team going in half time, I was really pleased with how he played. The first half went by very quickly. Second half was an absolute slogfest. They wanted to make it a scrap, and we were quite happy with doing that. The referee was giving some bizarre fouls and not giving others. Couldn't believe the kip of some of the decisions he was making in the second half there, the referee. But as it always seems to be in every Premier League game up and down the country every single week. But the next half an hour that started the second half it was strange. It was just non-existent. It was like it didn't happen. It was like time stood still, and it was just two teams who didn't really want to be playing football that day. I don't know, it just felt weird, but that suited us. And before you know it, you're at 75 minutes and you're thinking, right, hold this out, guys. And then we look to break from a free kick. Garner Gay and Decore go forward. Decore undoes all his good work and plays a sloppy, trying to be clever pass down the side, and then none of them get back, and then it gets to Brennan Johnson into the box. Godfrey can't slide in just before that because he's been booked for a stupid tackle in the first half, and then Brennan Johnson's a brilliant finish. How often do I see Everton players get the ball curled around them because they're so stationary and stood there? It's incredible. It's one of Michael Keane's party pieces, but brilliant finish by Johnson. And then as soon as it went to 2-2, I mean, I was saying to the lads during the game, I've got COVID at the minute, as you may be able to hear, but I had COVID when we played Burnley last year, and I'm thinking, right, 2-1 up at half time, relegation 6 points out. We scored a penalty. Sean Dyche on the sideline. We're playing all right. We feel like we should be winning, and that's very much what I thought this was going to be like when it went to 2-2. I thought they were going to get the sucker punch, but thankfully they didn't. That would have turned, I think, 2 points dropped into, 6 points dropped really, because they would have gone another 3 clear of us. But once it went to 2-2, it was Forest's game to win, really, wasn't it? It was Forest's game to win, our game to lose. They had another couple of chances. Pickford makes a good save. Johnson nearly comes close to getting his hat-trick, who had Brennan Johnson hat-trick on their bingo card this week. Just absolutely typical, but thankfully that went just wide, and then we didn't look like we were going to do it even after it went to 2-2, really, to be honest with you. It didn't help that every time we went forward, the referee seemed to either blow up or not give a free kick. I'd say he made some barbaric decisions today. Really, really bad refereeing performance from Peter Banks. Shocking, really, but that's not why we didn't win the game today. We didn't win the game today because we didn't convert chances. We turned down the chance to try and make chances, and then we made stupid decisions for both their goals, and that's the difference. That's why Forest are keeping their head above water at the minute. They are seeing games out. They are getting points where you don't expect it. They're quite happy to be a goal down going into the last 15 minutes, I think, because they know they've got a chance. They can throw on a quick winger or a quick striker or a big striker or a good finisher or somebody who can chest the ball down, bring us into play. They've just got so many options, and that's the flip side of them signing 400 million players, because it means they've got different profiles, different skill sets. We've got a lad up front who can't score, looks absolutely useless whenever he's in front of goal, and that's obviously Neil Maupay. We have another lad who I'm sure is going to have a decent career in England, but is not good enough right now, and Ellis Sims, who, whenever he has played against a decent Premier League centre-half, has looked way out of his depth, and that's fair enough, because he should be out on loan at Sunderland, doing well there still. And then Damari Gray, who did alright at times today, held the ball up okay, decent dribbling, was a decent outlet at times, and then really sloppy play over times. When I'll try and win a corner in the second half by the corner flag, and he just falls over, gives it away, and they go on the counter-attack. Little silly things like that just kind of derailed his performance a little bit, but it's just so frustrating for me, because that's a decent point, that, I think, in isolation, but when you actually watch the game, you think Everton had to see that out. Take the lead twice for a team who haven't scored more than one goal in a Premier League game, or any game for that matter, rather, since we beat Palace in October, I think it was. I believe that was what the stat was they reeled off at the start of the game. For them to finally do that, and then to give away 2 goals, meant to be more solid under Sean Dyche, but you can't work with players who make stupid mistakes, stupid decisions. And as I say, the likes of Decore, he just undid so much of his good work by giving the ball away there. But anyway, a point. I think the flip side and the positive will be that when you're on a relegation scrap, you are there for a reason. You can't turn down points of progress. And when Leeds, when Bournemouth, when West Ham, they've all lost. Leicester, I suppose, maybe they've all lost on the weekend. We gained a point on them at a place where, I think, only 3 teams have won this season: Spurs, Bournemouth and Fulham, I want to say. Something like that anyway. So, again, you can flip it whatever way you want, really, can't you? But I think for me, my ultimate instant reaction is we should have won that game today, and I really do look at it a bit like we should have taken all 3 points, but instead we've dropped 2. That's a disappointing thing for me. Some real tough away games to come, some really difficult home games to come. We're going to have to really dig in, but let's hope we can look back on this in 2.5 months time and say, oh wow, Forest was actually the start of something. That's when we started to pick up points again and started to stay in games and get points whichever way possible. So let's see. Anyway, thankfully we've got another point on the board, but I can't help but feel it should have been more. Let me know what you think anyway, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, and obviously check out the other videos on the channel and the other fallout from the Forest game. Thank you very much.